Welcome. Can everyone hear me? I assume I'm loud and clear. I want to take the opportunity to welcome everyone. I'm in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, and it's hard to believe that almost a year has passed since we have all met in person. And I want to extend a gracious welcome to all the families at the U. We miss you tremendously. I think we're all dying to be back together on campus and have a spectacular social event, really engage each other. So, I think we're on our way to this will be the last Zoom meeting, perhaps in the history of the U. Um, so I know that we're all very, very excited by this. But we find ourselves at the tail end of a process, and so we'll make the best of it today. It's going to be an exciting day. We have an opportunity to hear from Pat Wiley, our Senior Vice President of Student Affairs. And Pat has been such an instrumental part of this community since 1997. She has been at the U. And we personally have had the opportunity to meet with and understand and know Pat well. And we are more than thrilled and just honored to have the opportunity to have that relationship with her. And of course, that goes for the whole entire U staff and faculty and our president, Dr. Julio Frank. So we're just thrilled. A couple of things that I wanted to share with you before we get into Dr. Pat Wiley's bio, but I wanted to share some updates. It is admission time, and the U has really exceeded their own expectations. There's been 42,000 applications for the fall of 2021. That is the highest in the history of the university. Unbelievable. And I'm sure Pat's going to speak to some of the elements that contribute to this phenomenon. And we also see that the caliber of the students continues to increase. So that's great news for the U. I see it every day. I know everyone on the Parents Council continues to facilitate the dialogue regarding the U. And we really appreciate that outreach from each and every one of you. Another interesting statistic, and I did feel that COVID was going to have a positive effect on some aspects of the community. The on-campus occupancy rate is 83.7%. That's up about 12%. And that's really nice to see because, one of the things about the U has been always that kids are participating with so many off-campus activities. And I think one of the byproducts of this whole program, unfortunate program, the COVID phenomenon, has been that the kids have had to stay closer as a nucleus. And I think still have a niece and a nephew there. And I think their social networks are very, very strong as a result of this, as opposed to my daughters who graduated 2016 and 2020. There seemed to be a bit of, a different social milieu happening. And I think it's a positive one between the kids. So the enrollment for the semester currently is at 16,872. And that includes medical and law. So no doubt, Pat will continue to update us. Stefania and I are totally honored to be your national chair. Stefania, unfortunately, is sick with a sinus infection. So she sends her love to everyone. And, Dr. Pat Wiley is a close friend of the Parents Council. Before turning her over to you guys, I wanted to just share some really important highlights of her career. As I said earlier, Pat is the Senior Vice President of Student Affairs. She's been at the university since 1997. And, you know, she was promoted to senior vice president in 2020, earlier this year, 2000, was it Q4, I think, of 2020. And it's so well deserved. Her heart has been completely into Miami for so long. Um, and she's only the second person in our history to serve in this position, which is quite incredible, you know, quite incredible. And we hope to have you right to the end, Pat. We hope you stay right on through until you decide to retire. Her role entails the oversight of 21 departments and areas. So, you know, she definitely is not sleeping a lot, especially with the didactics and the logistics of what's been happening now. She also teaches 3 courses a year at the master's and doctorate level in the School of Education and Human Development. And it turns out we do have a PhD student, Dr. Heather Stevens, on the call today, who's been at the U since undergrad. I did hear that and wrote it down. So that's exciting to see your students getting their thesis, Pat. Amazing. Pat also works very closely with the Archdiocese of Miami to establish a permanent Catholic chaplain for the university, which had not existed. And she currently serves on the executive board of the National Catholic Campus Ministry Association. Pat is also a recipient of the Faculty Senate's McLemore Outstanding Service Award. We all know, hands down, Pat is amazing, and she's the best senior vice president of student affairs in the country. I would agree with that, and is truly irreplaceable. If you guys haven't had an opportunity to sit and speak with Pat or meet her in your hometown, I really would suggest it. She is a plethora of information. She's really kind of, I call it like the logistical go-to person, and how everything from football games to COVID management to health crises, social issues with your kids, academic issues, she kind of ties this whole nucleus together and really builds it out. So it's a tremendous undertaking. And so I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to thank Pat for spending time with us today. If you have any questions or comments, there is an area that you can record your questions and send them directly in today, and we'll get all of those answered. And thank you so much, Pat. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, David. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate to be with all parents and families today. It's a great honor. It has been certainly a year when we think about the fact that 1 year ago today, really around this time, we started talking about what we were going to do. Are we going to shut down? And we actually closed March 20th. Who would have thought that we would have had 2,187 belongings, some of them probably your students' belongings, left behind, only to send some of them home, or you came and got them in June. And we were able to open again, lots of remote classes, as we all know, and then keep us opened in the spring. I thought I'd just kind of go through. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'll quickly go through and maybe take some questions. But I wanted to give you an idea of some of our metrics and some of the ways that we've done things in the last year. It's nothing that I would have ever anticipated. And it has really been the biggest challenge of my career. And I think all the senior leaders could say the same. And I'm sure many of you in your own different companies and different businesses and families, I don't think we ever could have anticipated any of this. And, you know, hopefully there's hope on the horizon, certainly with the 3 vaccines. And we're very excited about being able to be completely in person in the fall. We're very, very hopeful that that will be the case. So spring orientation, just real quickly, I think the really neat thing is that fall to spring, freshmen, first year students, some of you among there might have somebody, came back 97% came back in the spring. Some decided that in the fall they were remote and they decided to come with us in the spring in person, and vice versa. Fall they were in person and they decided to be remote in the spring for a variety of reasons. So we've been doing a lot with orientation. We have working with our commuter students, and then we were able to do a pretty socially distanced in-person orientation for the spring, which was very exciting. We couldn't do that in the fall. Some of you know that we've had public health ambassadors. So we have the public health ambassadors, as you see. We have 100 of them. We have at least 8 working at all times between 8 and 9 p.m. And those are our students that are peer leaders that are asking our other students to make sure you wear your mask, socially distance, make sure you put your mask on after eating, all of those things that try to keep the community safe. And that has worked out, and we've had the volunteer service area running that program. We actually were one of the first universities in the country to do this, and we announced it in June, and a lot of other universities followed suit. So our testing plan, I think you've heard about this, you probably lived with your students. So, you know, in the fall, everybody had to had their own LabCorp before they got here in terms of testing. In the spring, we did that a little differently, where we actually had already been set up with a robust plan in the Pavia garage. So now, right now, we are weekly testing every student, and the testing is all intersected with what's called the symptom tracker. So if you are on campus today, you have to be able to show your symptom tracker, which shows that you've tested. You get a wristband, and you're able to go on the campus and to classes. If you haven't tested, or if you haven't tested last week and now you're going to test this week, or if you've missed a test for 2 weeks, then unfortunately, we are going to say you can't be on the campus, and we're going to go through our Dean of Students office. Some of you also probably have known about our Breathalyzer. We're using that in Lakeside and in UV. And basically, that's an Israeli company that's come up with literally a 40-second test that looks like a breathalyzer that says whether you potentially could be positive or not. And then if the student is concerned, kind of a yellow light, then they go get their PCR test. And that has really helped our students in Lakeside and UV, and it's also saved them time. I don't think anybody could have ever told me what it was going to be like to take care of students in quarantine and isolation. You know, I guess if you've never done it, you don't, it was a lot more complicated than we thought, especially when our numbers went up. So this just gives you an idea of the amount of tests, how many students were positive. We took care of our residential students, but we followed up with our non-residential students. So if it was a student that's non-residential, we still made sure that they were okay, although we couldn't provide them any kind of hotel space or on-campus space. So, you know, you think about pharmacy, packages, checking in on them with nursing aid, all of those things. So the thing that we made the change from fall to spring was that we had hotels that we used in the fall. And so what happened was students really wanted to be in the hotel because they felt like the infrastructure was better. So I said to the staff in November, let's bring the hotel to the campus. So we did. And so we basically took a whole floor of Eaton Residential College and Mahoney Pearson, 48 rooms over there. We put a coffee maker in, a TV, refrigerator, a microwave, new linens, really nice hotel linens, snacks, and we kind of brought the hotel to the university. So that has really helped us. And I think our students have been happier. Plus the quarantine and isolation time, the CDC changed. So we went from 14 days for quarantine to 10, and then we went from 10 to 7. And that has really helped us too. We have a dedicated website, a helpline all the time. And so we have somebody that's always answering questions. These are just our spring numbers. You know, of course, that we had a spike. So on or about the first week in February, whether it was because of people traveling or gathering when they came back, but we actually had one day that February 1st, 134 cases. That is not sustainable. And luckily the next day it was 60, but still we had by the end of the week on Friday, we had 305 students in quarantine and isolation just on campus, not even thinking about what was off campus. So that was really tough, but we mitigated. We went to takeout dining, no events. I'm sure you saw some of the President Frank's directives, and we were able to bring those cases down. And as of we, in the last 10 days, we've had very, very, very few cases. You know, you can look at our COVID dashboard every day, updated 11 and 7 o'clock, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. Today we had 5 non-residential students and 0 residential students on about 1,700 tests that were done yesterday. I think all of this, lots of mental health issues and student support. All of our counseling center has been all telehealth. Our case managers follow up on things. Students have felt isolated. They have felt that they didn't belong. It's been hard to connect them. So that just gives you an idea of all the things that we've tried to do to make sure either in the fall and in the spring, and it's our counseling center, it's our social workers. We have 4 on the staff that are in the Dean of Students office and in housing and in counseling. And then our ombudsperson, that's the person, Dr. Jen Rao, that tries to get through red tape and help students with financial aid or something that they need, or even use our emergency support to have a student. Literally yesterday afternoon, we had a student from the Bahamas, Jamaica, that her father was killed overnight. And so we were dealing with that yesterday afternoon. So sadly, you just never know what is going to happen in terms of dealing with anytime you have 11,000 students, kind of anything can happen. Student discipline, I think there's what are you doing about the folks that, have violated our public health directives? And this will tell you how many cases we've had. We've sent students home. We've said to students, look, you can't live on campus for the spring. You could maybe go remote, but you can't live on campus for the spring. You just did not follow our directives. And then we've had our own, Canes Care for Canes, our own students have reported each other if they were concerned about students not following the public health directives. That's been the challenge. You see that in the student discipline so far in the spring. And I think that you've probably seen some articles on Greek life. And look, we make students accountable. We have 5 Greek organizations right now that are suspended, but we are also not going to try Greek life or any student organization in our newspaper. And so we've kind of taken some hits for that, but that's the right way to do it because we have to have due process. And I'm sure you all understand that. But we continue to hold students accountable for their behavior. I also just wanted to mention, we have a fund that was named after me a number of years ago, and we've had a lot of gifts this year. So I know a number of you have donated. I appreciate that very much. And we have really, really helped a number of students this year. Everything from students being able to have money to go home to see their parents if there's an illness, anything, parents coming down to see their student if they need to. So that's been very, very helpful. All through this, student leaders, I've Zoomed with the world, whether it's Vice President's Roundtable, the Student Government Executive Board. We actually even had pancakes with Pat in the beginning of the semester, and we actually were able to have one last Wednesday night on the intramural field, which went very well. It was all takeout, but I think the students enjoyed it. I've kept up with communication, following up with students, and then some of you probably are familiar with our 4,372 parents that belong to the Cool Parents Facebook group. And I think before COVID, I would have told you all that I am not having anything to do with the Cool Parent Facebook group, not official, just not doing it. But to tell you the truth, I've been persuaded because I think it's been really helpful to our parents. There's just been so much angst, stress, mental health issues with students, and just so many things. And I think that we've worked very well. We actually have a volunteer administrator. Some of you probably know, I've seen the name of Stacy, and she and I work together. We try to solve problems before they become bigger problems. So that has worked well. I've been able to do it also because I am a parent. So I've had my daughter Megan as a freshman this fall and spring. So that's been really interesting too, to see COVID and freshman year through her eyes. Continuing on our facilities, we've had the Wellness Center open. We now have a tent that our student activity fee put up that students can use for, now we can do in-person socially distant outdoor events. But we've been able to do, we've had the Student Center Complex, Lakeside Village, the Watsco Center, the practice facility, all have had classes going on. And then we haven't had anything indoors, but then we've had some tents outdoors for outdoors events. So that's worked out. Our Herbert Wellness Center, our faculty and staff came back in November, 800 folks pretty much every day. And then we have group exercise outdoors. Luckily for us, we've been able to do some of that. I also want to just kind of give you a diversity and inclusion update. We've had courageous conversations that the president began with student government. So we've had a number of those this semester, kind of just engaging our students in conversations about equity, diversity, inclusion, and answering questions, certainly, especially with an emphasis on racial justice and some of the things that have been challenging this year. We have had a diversity, equity, inclusion a module that we launched in January for all undergraduate students. And that has been, I think, been very positive, and our students have completed that. We also just we're going to do a racial climate survey in March, and we just dedicated one of our conference rooms for racial justice. That's actually was in the law school. Some policy updates. I think you know that we had lots of challenges here in the fall. We had a lot of, basically our young Republicans, put out 300 Trump signs, and the Democratic students decided to go on another side of the walkway. And anyway, it was really, really kind of a difficult, challenging situation because you are kind of figuring out all of it, making sure the students understand we have to go by our policies, free speech, and etc. So we are looking again at our policies on long signs and political signage, working with our students. Our student leaders have to give us input into this in terms of going forward. There's a Student Center Complex Advisory Council, and so they have had some feedback, and we're working through that, and we'll have updates in the spring. So what am I worried about? So things are spring. I think I told my northern counterparts at various universities that I thought we would have it better here in the spring. And I basically have been given my comeuppance because that's not the case. We actually have more challenges. And why is that? More spring breakers, more to do. Our students want to gather, the weather, the whole thing. So I'm concerned about just the senior behavior here at the end. Continue to be concerned about Greek life, but hopefully we're calming that down because we've just suspended 6 groups. And then we do have, for those of you that are senior parents, congratulations. We are very optimistic, cautiously optimistic, that we are going to have commencement outdoors at Hard Rock Stadium. You remember we were not able to do this in the fall. We canceled with 9 days. We went virtual. Was not good. Students and parents were very, very disappointed. So we're really hoping that we can have this up at Hard Rock. They can have 65,000 potentially there if obviously it wasn't COVID. So we're hoping that, socially distance, we would be able to have 4,000 to 5,000 at each commencement. So we're doing Wednesday, law and med. Then Thursday, we are doing graduate to graduate, and then Friday are undergraduate. So congratulations to those that have seniors graduating. So what are we worried about now? Fall planning, right? We don't know. I think the vaccine, the, if it's going to be EUA and stay EUA, or if it's going to go to FDA approval, what that will mean for us. We're hoping to go to normal operations, as David just indicated. We are looking that everything would be in person. If we had to pivot, we'd pivot in the summer, but we're hoping that everything would be in person. Family weekend we plan, so we hope that you'll come if you are still with a student. And then homecoming and our capital campaign launches in November. And we are hoping to have kind of a quasi commencement ceremony for those that may have missed it in 2020 that folks could participate in. I'm happy to take any questions. That's kind of our picture at this point in time. There is a lot going on at all times. We're doing our very, very best. It's been challenging. We're not perfect. We've made mistakes. And we appreciate all of your partnerships and all the ways that you support the U. And back to you, David, or to Ann.
All righty. Pat, thank you so much for that wonderful update. And we certainly appreciate everything you do for the U. It's just so incredible. I have a question for you, Pat. How much time are you spending a day on this since the pandemic started? What were you doing prior to the pandemic? You and your team, what are you doing now as far as hours per day? What's that look like? I'm curious.
No, I think it's kind of an interesting question. There really hasn't been a day since March 2nd that I haven't done something with COVID. I think that there's a number of members of my team that are doing a ton on it each day, like at least, 12-hour days. And then there's other members of the team that are doing different things. So for example, the conference services person, well, we don't have any conferences, right? So I put them in charge of the testing program and working with the symptom checker. So I've had to reallocate our resources to make sure that we're effective. Our helpline, we have a number of staff that's working on that. So, I think that I have tried to be here in person 4 days a week at least. I think it's really important for me as the Vice President for Student Affairs to be walking around, giving out masks. That's what I've been doing. I have Cane Scare for Cane's masks and trying to connect with students. So yeah, it's been intense. At the same time, I think the opportunity to be remote gives everybody, some flexibility, right? So then I think that's been more helpful for everybody. And it's been lonely too, because it's hard to make decisions when you don't see anybody in person. It's all on Zoom, but we've done the best that we can do. And I think, President Frank, the provost, Jackie Travisano, everybody has tried to really work together. And the most important thing is sustainability for the U. Like there's a lot at stake of colleges and universities. They've lost billions of dollars, auxiliary revenue, food service. I mean, all of us. And so the fact that we've been able to remain open and are at this semester 85%, and now going into next year, Lakeside just sold out, I think is great news and optimistic news. And that's the most important thing.
Thank you. Great information. One more question for you, Pat. In your 2+ decades at the U, what has compared in scope to the last year since March 20th in, this kind of mobilization? Has there been anything that you could recall that has created this kind of mobilization?
No, there is, because the reality is I've some of I've dealt with Hurricane Andrew. I've dealt with value jet crash in the Everglade, a double murder. Like I've had a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
But unfortunately, this is just so constant. It's not going away. And it's been a year of constant, even with Hurricane Andrew. Yeah, it hit on August 24th. We were back by September 14th. We had obviously, a number of years of financial losses and issues and buildings and everything, but nothing compared to this. I'm glad in a way that I'm grateful that I'm at this stage of my career, because I think I've been able to bring the experience and some wisdom to the table. I think it would be hard to be a rookie vice president and having had to deal with everything that we've had to deal with, because it's one of those things that COVID, it's like, no one's happy on any given day. Somebody is always kind of saying, well, you should have done it this way. You should have do this and the testing and this and that. And so, we have had to follow up with parents and students. So it's been hard, but we've done our best. And I think the staff has really rallied across the university.
Great news. Thank you so much. And we're going to do some breakout with the parents. And how's Megan doing with her freshman year? Has it turned out to be fruitful?
Yeah, I think so. Overall, she has a friend from Wisconsin, a friend from Philadelphia, a friend from Boston. So that's great. And we don't see her that much. So that's good. And all good. So it's been fun. It's been fun. And everybody on the call will be amused at this story. So she's like, Mom, do you oh my gosh, now we have security on the weekends. And the reason we have security on the weekends is to keep the spring breakers out, because the spring breakers would love to come and, stay with their friends. She's like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. You know how they carry on. So she's like, do you know who decided that? And so I just said, really deadpanned, I'm like, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, it was me. I said it was me, and I'm glad that it's working. Thanks for letting me know. And I just went on to my next thing. So it was really funny. She just was there stunned, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, yeah, I did. So I came up with that, and we do have security Thursday through Sunday in all the residential colleges, because we have to keep the spring breakers out.
Fantastic. So I think we're going to, Pat, thank you so much for your time. It's great to hear from you. Are there any questions from the group?
It's great to be with everybody. We miss you on campus. Hopefully we'll see you in September.
And so are we going to do a little breakout session where each parent can kind of share some info about their children and their experience? Great. Great.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Pat. So would you like me to go around, Anne, and kind of?
Yeah, it's gonna, if everyone, if you put your screen on the top right hand where it says gallery view.
We okay, yeah, there we are.
And we want to hear from everybody. And
I love these backdrops. They're just fabulous.
And you know what to say, David. Some of them might want to turn their cameras on. Even we don't care if you're in your pajamas.
Anne wants to see everybody. She's anxious. Oh, look at these beautiful faces. I miss these people. Everyone.
So yeah, people just need to remember when it's their turn to not be on mute. But David, do you want to start?
Sure. Do you want me to start? I'll start. So, we've been, our first daughter graduated in 2016 at the U. Kiata's now been out going on 5 years. She's doing extremely well. She lives in Miami with our older 2020 graduate. They live together. And Stefania graduated during COVID, so it was the whole no graduation. But nonetheless, she's found a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. She's working hard to become gainfully employed, which has been an arduous task, I think, for most of our recent graduates a little bit. But we see this, things are changing, things are opening up, so we're very optimistic, and I think that goes hand in hand with the U. And one of the greatest stories that I can tell you is that through a lot of this interviewing that she's been going through, out Zooming from her apartment in Miami, she's coming in contact with all these U graduates who are interviewing her. So she's 23, they're 27. And one of the greatest kind of little tension breakers in these interviews is the fact that out of 2 interviews, 2 of the people under 30 interviewing her had graduated from the U, long familial history at the U, and it really, I think, brings these kids, gives them some common ground to work from. So, it's interesting in South Florida, the U is just so powerful, so strong. We believe in it, and we want to all stay connected to this great family. They're doing great things. So I'm not going to say any more. And would it be Jeff that I would go to here next? Jeff Silk? Does anyone want to share anything? That's what we're trying to do here. If you want to just share regarding your children, how they're doing, what year they're in, they don't have to make it any kind of long story. If you choose not to, that's fine too. We'll just move on.
Hello, everybody. This is Jeff. I really wasn't prepared to say anything, but let me say the following. Academics is a hobby of mine, and I'm just going to say that we are so lucky to have Pat on our team. And there is so much more that she does and so many more sacrifices that she makes for the benefit of the University of Miami and for obviously the benefit of our children. So that's the first thing that I would say. The second thing that I would say is there's no right way to do what the University of Miami has done in terms of the blend between on-campus and off-campus learning. And but I think the U has done a great job of finding that blend, which works excellent for the students. I think that's super important to note. I mean, I think that the fact that our admissions numbers are up in a world right now where private college education numbers are generally down says a lot for the reputation of the U, and I would say a lot for our admission strategies and a lot for the students. Anyways, I feel very proud that my daughter Abigail Silk is a student at the University of Miami. She is super happy that she is at the university, and I am quite confident that her experiences at the University of Miami will dramatically give her a boost in life. So, thank you.
Jeff, thank you so much. That was excellent. We're going to move to Lori Nitzberg, and you can share with us. Hi, Lori. How have you been? And please share your story here with your children.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
We're great.
Excellent. It's so nice to be a part of this, even though we're doing it virtually. It's just nice that we're able to do that. As the students are studying remotely, I guess we're doing the same here, and I think it's important to feel that connection with the parent relation committee and Anne, and of course you and all of that. And I'm grateful to be a part of not only this group, but I'm grateful to be a part of the University of Miami family. I've met so many wonderful friends, mothers, parents. I've met lots of students who our daughter is Natalie, and she is a junior in the communication school. And I keep telling Anne, I think she's like the happiest student at University of Miami, but then again, I think that other parents also say that. So it just really, it really warms my heart to be involved and included with such great people. I have to stress that the way that the University of Miami handled the whole COVID thing has been like top notch, impeccable. And you know, while other schools and you know, my daughter's sons that go to schools, you know, they never went back in the fall. And you guys say we can't do it. They said we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna take, like, we're gonna listen to the science. We're gonna listen to everybody, and we're gonna make this work. And I applaud every single person that was on that committee to make it work, and all the guidelines and procedures that they went through to make it work. And yet, just keep the students happy and try to just try to show them some sort of normalcy in this crazy last spring semester that they had when they all came back from spring break in March, and like kind of life kind of ended for them for a while as they knew it. So thank you for the safety, that the precautions, and keeping some sort of normalcy. And I think it helps with the whole mental illness that these kids are going through. I can sit here and talk on and on and on and on about how wonderful it is to just be a part of the University of Miami. And there's so many people to thank along the way. And I hope next season we can do it all in person, and, you know, we meet more people, because it's been lovely. So
Lori, thank you so much. We love your enthusiasm, and good luck with Natalie. We really wish you the best, and I'm glad she's happy at the comm school. It's a great place. I'm gonna move next to Herb Herb Wagner. Let you just tell us. Great to see you, Herb, back, and we're looking forward to hearing about your positive experiences.
Well, thank you, David. So I have a daughter, Claire, who's graduating this year. We're from Boston, and I'm happy to report she's going to be coming back to Boston to work for a high-tech firm up here. So had a great experience in Miami. Was in a sorority. Really want to echo what folks have said. Like, really appreciate the university going all out to allow the kids to come back on campus, and to be here. Our middle daughter's at Harvard here in Cambridge, and Harvard didn't have the kids back, and it just really made the experience a lot worse for her. And so I just my hats off to everybody at Miami for making the experience really special in such a difficult time. I really appreciate that from a parent's perspective. And also, secondly, I want to thank Anne. Anne's been a great partner for helping with Claire throughout the 4 years, and I can honestly say that she's in a better spot because of a lot of Anne's stewardship and help, and she really went over kind of above and beyond to help us get through a few difficult times with Claire, and she's on a great path and doing really well. And just want to thank you, Anne, for all your encouragement and support along the way as well. So yeah, I'm bummed not to see everybody in person, but I'm sure we'll be getting together sometime, hopefully soon. But yeah, I just want to thank all you guys for such a great experience that my daughter had. So
Herb, thanks so much. We really look forward to your continued engagement. Congratulations to Claire. It was really a pleasure having her, and we'll really look forward to hosting your family in the future, and keep us abreast of her success.
Thank you.
As opposed to your daughter who went to Harvard, I'd love to hear the comments on how that works. Oh, wonderful. Cynthia, how are you? Hit your unmute.
Hi, everybody. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm good.
Anne, hi. Well, first of all, this is my first parent meeting, so I'm thrilled to be invited in. Thank you, Anne, for your kind invitation. David's wife Stefania and I grew up in the same town in Pennsylvania, so I have a little connection to David.
That's a
And
small world, small.
very small world. So I have a son who's on the Miami football team, and he is going to be entering into his junior year. I also have a son who just was admitted to Miami, so he'll be coming in as a freshman. So we're thrilled. My son on the football team, he has had a fantastic, can't say more about it, an experience at the U. He's doing phenomenally well. The team over on the football team, Coach Diaz and his staff and team have been incredibly communicative and helpful through this whole COVID situation. As you can imagine, the football players wanting to play, and then the hoops that they have to jump through to make that happen, and then the COVID testing and everything. And they so impressed with their leadership, having the involvement of the parents and letting us all have a voice, and finding a way for the boys to play and to stay safe, and then care for them if they did have COVID, and et cetera, et cetera. I can't tell you how impressed I am with President Frank, who has really, again, laid it all out for us to understand. I mean, with his background, I would listen to him, and he has just been so thoughtful with moving forward and being a leader in this very, very tough, challenging time for everybody, for all of us. So I can't say enough about the leadership at the U. And I'm also excited as a parent of a freshman coming in with a different experience. My son, who's on the football team, they embrace us. They have their family, and we don't really, interestingly enough, we don't really. It seems like we're almost kind of separate. They do so much to keep that family together and informed. So I'm thrilled to see a different perspective of the youth through the life and journey of my freshman, who will not be playing ball. He'll be probably in Greek life and all of that. So anyway, I'm thrilled to be here, and I love hearing everybody's stories. So I'll let you guys talk.
Thanks for sharing, Cynthia.
Sure.
Congrats on both your sons.
Thank
Exciting.
you.
It's always great to see our families that have two. They choose to send their other children 3 and 4. We've had families that I've met that have 4 kids that have gone through the U. It's just incredible. But
Great.
it's really a testament to our community. And I think you hit it right on the nose. Adriana, how are you, Adriana? How's the family?
Hi, David. Everything's fine. We're here in Miami, sunny Miami.
I know.
And our son, Luis, is a senior. So he'll be
Oh,
graduating from electrical engineering now. We were, a little upset with that news, but he was all excited today saying that there was going to be commencement and all that. So we heard that first right before the meeting. And the positive note is, even though, COVID hit and all that, he was able to get an internship in machine learning through a professor, and he's excited about that and doing that as well. So different times, but getting a little bit of the taste and the feeling of the U is good. So I'm happy to hear everybody's doing fine. And Anne, I'm happy to see you there, hanging in there and getting us together again. So thank you, David, for your leadership, and it's great to be here with you all.
Oh, so nice. Thank you, Adriana. And congratulations to Luis. He's quite a bright kid, and we'll look forward to hearing more about his future. Oh, I'm going to introduce Mark Pasquela. It looks like he's in the windy city of Chicago here, and we'll let him tell us about his 2 children as well. Mark is my first cousin, and my niece and nephew who I'm so thrilled about. We have a sophomore and a freshman at the U, and I'll let Mark tell you a little bit about their experience.
You can feel free to tell the story, Dave, if you want. Well, I am in Chicago. My wife is in the car and she's probably hearing this because I know she called in, but and it is 70 degrees here, everybody should know, in Chicago. So it is, it's pretty awesome. Two kids, freshman Catherine and a sophomore Michael at the U. And maybe I'll add this aspect. Living through COVID, we were 2 for 2, both got it. Both had to get quarantined off-site. Michael was early in the year, and we watched the program vastly improve by the time Catherine got it, because the school learned, and it really was handled incredibly professionally. We were very, very thankful. And I agree with the comment about President Frank. He laid it out there. Here's the story. Your kids are probably going to get it. If you're not comfortable with that, don't send them, but we're going to mitigate it to the best of our ability. And I think they really did. And I think I can compare it to our oldest is a junior at Michigan, and that was a full lockdown for the entire year. It was in existence within an off-campus house and online school. Compared to the experience that his brother and sister were having in Miami, it was vastly, vastly different. The benefit of the weather, getting outside, socialization, I would tell you, I think it created an environment where these kids, and they're resilient, but they navigated quite well. So kind of the way the school has handled it, the environment they're in, and really just a positive attitude that exists on that campus. It's hard not to like it. So they're both thriving, involved in the school, involved in Greek life. Can't say enough good things. And last comment, the University of Miami reputation in Chicago is, I would say, when you make a comment to somebody, your kids are at Miami, they go, oh my God, great school, hard school to get into. That's awesome. I should have gone there. I should have sent my kids there. I didn't hear that 5-10 years ago. I mean, now it is just, it's top of mind for so many people here in the Midwest. It's an incredible, I would say, comment to the brand and how just respected it is universally right now. So, and Ann, nice to see you, my fellow Midwesterner. I'll see you in person soon. Thanks for everything. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Mark. That was excellent. I think that's one of the interesting effects. Unfortunately, COVID's been a boon to society, but if you look at the numbers, there's probably, you pointed out 3 factors, and I think our rising numbers of students, the location, the way the U's handling things, the academics, it really pressurized more and more kids nationally to want to come and live in South Florida and be a part of the U community. So I echo your sentiments on that. Thanks, Mark, for that great recap. Deb, how are you? So nice to see you.
Nice to see you also. I have to say, I am so impressed with the U. I have a lot of friends that their children go to other universities, and they have had major outbreaks, major problems. Let me start off by saying I have a son who graduated from the U 7 years ago. He is now a resident at Miami Children's Hospital. I have 2 daughters now at the U. Well, I guess fortunately they're living at home with me because we live 3 miles away from the U. One is a sophomore, one is graduating this year. I have to say all their friends that are on campus have just said that everything was handled amazingly well. My daughter graduates this year, and she was hoping that the graduation would be live, and I heard that it is, so we're very, very excited. Both of my daughters are pre-med, and they have had all their science classes virtual, and they have done an amazing job the school and my daughters, thank God. And I have to thank Anne because she was the one that actually got, my daughters interested in the U, and I haven't seen you in so long. I miss you. I miss everybody. All is good. So I'm very happy, and the U has done an amazing job. So all good.
Yeah, phenomenal. Are all three kids pre-med, right? They're all going.
Yeah, well, I have four, and my
4.
oldest is already a fellow at Nicholas Children's. She's doing pediatric ER. My
Right.
son is going to do neonatology. My daughter Samantha has been accepted to Miller School of Medicine and FIU, a few schools. So we're seeing which one. And my youngest also is going in that route too. So very exciting.
Proud parents,
very proud.
amazing work. That's
Yeah.
very incredible. 4
Thank
for 4
you.
into medicine.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Tell your husband we said hello.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we'd love
you.
to have a parents council meeting at your home again. It was so lovely.
Absolutely. We will do it. We will, for sure.
Colin, how are you? Unmute.
Yeah, there you go. Hi, everyone.
How have you been, buddy?
Good, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm very lucky. I'm here in Miami, so
Yeah.
unlike most of the world, we've had a pretty easy ride in comparison to most of the rest of the world. My wife spends, unfortunately, her job is in London and has spent a lot of time there. So the folks in London have really had a much harder time. Actually, on that point, can I just say right at the outset that please don't assume that everybody with a British accent is as dysfunctional as our royal family. Most of us are quite normal and embrace diversity. Anyway, we'll move swiftly along. My son, Fred, is a freshman. He's our second cane. Tom graduated in 2018. So it's great to be back for my second stint on the Parents' Council. So great to see some old faces, and of course, Anne again and Pat. Thanks for all that you do. Like Cynthia's son, my son Fred is on the football team, which was wonderful. He got into the U academically, but then was given a walk-on opportunity in the football team. He's a punter. So his new best friend is the heavily tattooed Lou Headley. Being part of the football team, and I certainly endorse everything that Cynthia said about how amazing that has been. Coach Diaz was wonderful, keeping us incredibly informed. Fred was very lucky to have, the nearest thing to a normal student existence, I think, that it's been possible to have during these difficult times. The football guys were really in a semi-bubble, tested 4 times a week, which of course was quite encouraging for us because he would come home and we would feel pretty safe. Although ironically, I think something like 85% of the team ultimately got COVID. Fred still has managed to keep it at bay, amazingly. But that was quite encouraging. And he's obviously developed tremendous friendships. The special teams guys are really, really good friends, operating their own bubble. For now, at least, Fred is the only member of the special teams unit who doesn't have a tattoo. His mother is hoping that continues, but 3.5 years to go, so time will tell. And it's been amazing. These guys work incredibly hard. Fred's in the gym at 5:30, 4 mornings a week, sometimes 5. Stuff going on over the weekend, and of course the academic stuff is there. I mean, some of them take a slightly easier route, but certainly in Fred's case, he's operating as any other student. So, my hats off to him for the effort that he puts in, both physically and academically. And we're very proud that he's at the U, you know, both as a student like everybody else, and obviously as part of the football team. It's been amazing. We're so grateful, and we relish every moment of it. So look forward to seeing everybody, hopefully in September.
Thank you so much, Colin, and congrats on your 2 canes. Incredible, incredible. And, you know, I always was enamored the first time I heard Coach Diaz speak. He gave a speech to the Parents Council. You probably remember that, Colin, some years ago. And one of my overriding sentiments was, this guy has to give a course to every freshman on the key elements of success outside of academics, but positive attitude, positive, you know, he's just incredible. So I could imagine how you feel having your son surrounded by that. That's great news. Thanks for sharing, Colin. I look forward to seeing you shortly. Andrew, how are you? Let's go ahead and unmute on the lower left corner.
Yes, I got it. Thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
hello to you.
Great to
And,
hear your voice.
Sorry, got multiple lines here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, hello. Thank you, David. And hello, Anne. And hello to Cynthia, who is in my hometown here. I am a graduate of the school back in 1982. And so I'm an alumni. And my son, Austin, is a legacy. He's a senior now, and in the business school, and he's graduating. Sorry, I'm just trying to turn off all my other electronics here. In any event, I guess this might be my last meeting with the Parents Council, which would be very sad. And shaking her head no, so I guess maybe I'm invited back, even though my son will be graduating. He had a wonderful time in his 4 years at the school, although it's been very challenging in the pandemic, as it has been for all the kids. Specifically for Austin, he runs the school newspaper. And there were issues about continuity, as it was a print publication. And that required a significant size staff to get together in person and dealing with outside printers, the distribution of hard copies throughout the campus without there even being much of the audience on the campus. So that was a trial by fire for him, a great learning experience. And they pivoted and evolved to become essentially a digital publication, which is now distributed online and via email like 3 to 5 days a week. And they've been able to maintain a good deal of their advertisers and their revenues and the jobs. So it has all turned out okay through that crisis. Again, it's been a challenge. He hasn't been doesn't feel quite as connected during the pandemic, being off campus as he is, but he seemed really elated recently when he learned that commencement would be live and in person. So he's kind of spread that enthusiasm to the family, and we've got 7 people flying in from California for the commencement, even though there's only 4 tickets, 4 attendees allowed in the stadium. So we haven't quite figured out how that's going to work, but I do understand there's some sort of simulcast that'll take place for the commencement. So we're very excited to finally get on a plane. It'll actually be our family's first trip, a post-pandemic trip anywhere. And it's going to be to University of Miami, obviously. So we're all very excited for that. And thank you. And I'm sorry for the inauspicious kickoff there with all the other technology.
Thank you, Andrew, and congratulations to Austin. That's awesome. We'll look forward to seeing you for that commencement. And no better place to come than to Miami for your first trip post-COVID. Right. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Holly, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, Holly.
Hi,
How are
David.
you? Great to
Hello.
see your face.
Good to see you guys. Hello, Anne. Hello, welcome, Cynthia. I'm in Vero Beach, Florida today. It's like 70, so it's nice out. Not that I've left my office, but I'm happy to hear there's some football fans. I go to every football game at home, so I'm thrilled to have some football parents. I'll even go to an away game sometimes. Anyway, okay, I have two children. One of them is in the law school. She is actually still an undergrad senior, but she's actually fully in law school in this dual degree program, which has been interesting because nobody in the law school knows she's actually in undergrad, but all her undergrad friends wonder where she is because all she does is study. So she's in that land, but it's going well. Academically, it's great, but she is really looking forward to next year going back to class. So I guess they said next year they are hoping it will be in person, which I think she's had a little bit in person, mostly online, but she said the classes in person are just so much better. And she learns so much more that she's just ready to really, be with other people and be with her professors because, it counts. So that's where she is. She has not gotten COVID because she's in her apartment all day. So she hasn't caught COVID. So that's good. I guess she actually will go to the graduation because even though she is in law school, she hasn't graduated. So I guess we'll also be at the graduation this year, which is exciting. Let's see. Okay, my second daughter is a freshman. So we've been going through all of that, which, it's been a whole different experience. Once you've done both, you kind of know the difference. It was completely different. I think she also ready to get back to normal. She did have COVID second semester, and she did get a little sick. So she did come home, and we just dealt with it at home, even though we didn't want to get it. She was sick. We were very thankful to have all of the equipment that the University of Miami gives you when you get it. So we had the little finger monitor, and we actually did monitor her pulse and her oxygen. So we were so helpful. All of you doctors know what that's called. So she's getting better and hopefully she's fine. But, it's funny because people do walk around saying it's nothing. Everybody's fine. But there are people who actually do get sick. So I think everything the University of Miami is doing to keep the kids safe is warranted. But at the same time, I'm so glad they got to go to school. So it's been good. That's where it's at. We're just trying to get through this year, looking forward to next year. Happy to see all of you.
Thanks so much, Holly. Great news. I'm so glad. That's amazing. Your oldest daughter is in that dual program. I'm sure she's busy. And yeah, I think we'll have that same experience in the fall with being back on campus. We can all get to see each other. And I think your daughter everyone will be in the rear view mirror as far as the COVID world. James, how are you? Nice to see you.
Well, thank you.
You're looking well.
I'm a father of Sean, and he is our number 2 of 4 children. We're based in Shanghai, but 3 of our boys are in school in the States. Our daughter is home with my wife in Shanghai, and with all the COVID, it's been a little bit tough because we've been far apart since the early summer. But I think I just wanted to reflect on one point really brought up by most of the folks already, but and that is we are incredibly grateful and proud of the U for what they've been doing through this whole crisis. We have, kids in other schools. I like Herb Chambers. Our eldest is Herb Wagner rather. Our eldest is a 3rd-year student at Harvard, and we have many friends, like I'm sure all of you do too, with children at other schools. And President Frank and the team have really just struck the right balance in our view, in a really difficult situation. And this has been touched on by some of the other parents, but we noticed our Sean is incredibly proud of the fact that he's at the U. We're incredibly proud of the fact that he's at the U. And this has been made even more so by this really well balanced and well executed plan. And so I just wanted to underscore that. Anyway, great to see everyone, and I see people dropping off, so I better be quiet and pass along so others can get the chance to say hi. Nice
Thanks
to
so
see
much,
everyone.
James. We're glad the family's well. We'll look forward to seeing you. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi there. I'm good.
Good.
I'm sitting here alone because after the third cancellation or postponement, my husband has finally made it to the dentist. He wishes he was listening. I've been taking notes and sending things to him, but we are now at the point of our third and final child at the U is now in his senior year. I think it's been hard for him watching his older brother and sister go through and him not having the same final year or even the past year the same as they did. He also started the semester with the knee surgery and hasn't been able to walk. And in my opinion, the fact that he has been able to have all of his classes online has been super helpful because he wouldn't have been able to get to them otherwise. He doesn't really agree with me thinking it's a positive, but I'm glad that he had that option and was able to stay and be there. The other two that have already graduated are both working and doing great, and also very happy that they were graduates of the U. So we are thankful beyond everything. We love it there, love everything about it. Happy that Tommy's also still enjoying it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kim. It's so great to see you. Tell your husband we said hello and we hope to see him soon.
I will.
Yeah. Hi, Lisa. Dr. Smart, how are you?
Hello, I don't know if everybody can hear me. Ann was helping me get on this. I'm more of an in-person than a Zoom person, but I'm one of the families that has 3 at the university. My oldest daughter is in grad school right now in sports administration. They actually let her double up and take a 20-month grad program in 12 months because she's planning on matriculating at the U, doing their dual degree law school to get her JD and then also her master's of sports law. So she just, they're probably never going to get rid of her. My senior just graduated in December, so we're hoping to be able to show up for graduation and is patiently waiting to hear about Miller Med School, hopefully matriculating this August. And then I also have a freshman who is absolutely loving it down there. His sisters are telling him there's a lot more to it once, the campus and everything opens up. But we heard from him last night and he's planning on, getting a house with like 10 guys next year. And I don't know who would probably be dumb enough to rent to 10, 19-year-old boys down there. Tried to explain that to him, but he just is not planning on coming home for the summer. So, whatever you guys are doing, and Pat, I mean, it's working. I managed to get 3 of them through down there with, COVID testing left and right, and we've come up pretty lucky. So, I can't thank you guys enough. Whatever you're doing, it's working, and it sounds like you're never getting rid of us. I love it.
Amazing.
Love it.
Oh, amazing. Thanks, Lisa. Send regards to your husband.
Yeah, he keeps coming in and out. He's in the middle of office hours, so he's coming in and out with us.
Thank you so much for your time. Blessings on the kids. Let's see, Maria Elena, how are you? So
Hi.
nice to see your face.
I'm grateful to be part of this group. Thank you, Pat. And I'm really admire Dr. Frank of how everything was handled at the U. We have friends at other university that were unmotivated with online classes. And I saw Elena that was really happy with discussion and even though it was through Zoom, but very interactive classes compared to other colleges. So I think that you did a great job. She's very happy. She's doing global business and marketing and a minor in entrepreneurship and wants to probably do one semester after she finishes because she wants to keep on studying, and she's very, very happy at the U. So I'm just thankful.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's so nice to see you, and I'm glad your child is happy at the U. Is there anyone else who we didn't get to? My screen indicates we've gotten to everyone, but I just want to be sure. Did I miss anyone? Is there anyone that wants to comment before we wrap it up, share their thoughts, sentiments, any comments?
Is Hunt still there, or did Hunt hang up?
I don't see, he doesn't appear to be here. Craig is here in and out. I don't know.
Yeah, he must be delivering a baby right now.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I figured, delivering a baby.
You know, we delivered my nurse's son last night at 6:30 or 5:30 in the morning. So he's, you know, a little in and out.
I would say, Dr. Albert, nice to see your face. Yeah, I'm so proud of your family. Incredible. Tell your children we said hello.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for coming late, but also very, very proud of how the school adapted so quickly. The funniest thing is to watch my daughter have a dance class via Zoom. I just never thought that could be done via Zoom, but to do ballet looking at a screen is the funniest thing from a distance. But they pulled it off, and they're enjoying it, to be honest with you. She's studying for her dad's exams that are more nervous. But I always like to close for me saying that, you know, a city, we're long-term residents in Miami, and to be a great city, you need a great university. You cannot have a city without a great university. They go hand in hand. So for that, I'm very proud to be part of UM, and I think Miami's changing quickly, and the university's changing with it, of course. And that's how else can you go around and just say to you and the whole world knows what that means, right? That's incredible. So
that's so
thank
true.
you guys.
Well said, Doctor. And we appreciate your comments.
I want to just jump in and say, you know, thanks to the diehards sticking on until 5:17. I'm so grateful. And I'm also going to let everyone know that with those with seniors who don't have younger canes, they have to come in the fall, and they can be Emeriti members as long as they want. But no, it's so nice to see you all. And I hope everyone has September on their calendar. Like Pat said, I think we anticipate in person, you know, unless the world turns upside down again. But it's really heartwarming to see everybody. And we'll be recruiting some more members. Cynthia is the only parent of an incoming, but we'll have more new members, and I need you all to help welcome them. But no, it's great to see you. And Dr. D, thank you always.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ann, and thank you.
Everybody else just gets to show up, and you had to work a little bit.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's not work. These are all people we've seen and know, and you know, it's fun. We should all have a great big party at the U in the fall. That's
you can count on it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Stephanie and Alba, for all your hard work and everything, and Marie as well, to you for putting all this together and working as a team.
Thank you. There's Alba. Yeah, you guys, I hope it looks easy peasy, like everyone just showed up and that was it. But We've actually been working on this for a few months, and so thank you for showing up today. We love you, your families, and you guys and your students.
Thank you.
David, you want to wrap up?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And without saying anything else, let's look forward to the fall, having a great big party in Miami and then really celebrating our children's lives and the U. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the leadership. Bye.